Right, let's take you to Korle Bu, where some doctors called off their strike action, but some other professionals there are threatening another strike. The medical laboratory professional workers union is insisting that they are threatening a strike at Korle Bu if their demands are not met. Quickly, let's engage a communication team member of that workers union, Dr. Franklin Nee Amartey. Doc, grateful for your time this morning, but let's start the conversation from here. The medical laboratory professionals, who are they?
So medical laboratory professionals are the working class in the various laboratories in the country.
I see.
So basically our job is to take samples of the body and take it through analytical processes and generate results that are very useful to make clinical decisions.
I see. Do you belong to the allied health professionals, or you are a different group?
Exactly.
You belong to that
so
group.
We operate under the allied health profession.
Okay, fantastic. Right. So let's come to your issue. Your concern, one of which is that the person or whoever is heading laboratories in Korle Bu is not a member of your group.
Well, so whoever is heading now was a member of our group, but the CEO, and for that matter, the board of Korle Bu have set him aside. And we have issues with it. Our issue is that the case of the medical officers who insist that they have learned something that meant that they have to practice in the lab. It is their case that we do not give them access to the lab. Now, access has got nothing to do with leadership and governance. But it is very clear that because their intentions is to interfere with the governance of the medical laboratory scientists, they have gone ahead to set our client, who is the head of the laboratory services sub-BMC side, because that is their focus anyway, and it is never really the access thing. Because the access thing, I mean, even cleaners, and that is not to demean the work of the cleaner, but even cleaners and other professionals have access to the lab. How much more our colleague medical officers who want to come and play some specific roles which is defined by a specific job description? Why wouldn't we allow them to come and practice? But the conflict, the subject of the conflict is about the leadership problem. We are allied, as you rightfully stated, and by the Act 857, we are regulated under Part 1. Medical officers are regulated under Part 2. There is no confusion in the law at all. So allied people report to Allied Health Director, and similarly, doctors will also report to the Medical Affairs Director. And so if it is not a governance issue, why are you touching leaders at this point, when it's about engaging people for cool heads to prevail and specific rules that have been assigned people by their job description? They'll be allowed to practice what they went to school and they were taught and learned.
I see. So the difficulty is with the head, right?
Exactly, the headship.
Okay.
And I will say without any fear of contradiction that we as medical laboratory scientists, if anybody thinks that is not one of our kind and we will submit to him, then the person is just daydreaming, respectfully.
Doc, let me ask you
this. That is a non-negotiable stance. We will not allow someone who is not of our own kind to lead and manage us. No.
Doc, let me ask you this question. Now, if a patient in any laboratory needs a blood test, will the accuracy of that blood test depend on who heads the lab?
Well, the accuracy of blood tests, everything is also about leadership. But you see, let us not trivialize this issue by this line of question. The need for human beings, the people who work in the lab are human beings. And if you look at the Maslow hierarchy of human needs, it is the need of every human being, for that matter professionals, to feel significant to do the work that they do. The other day, it was possible for even Joseph in the prison to rise to the pinnacle and become the chief prisoner. And so don't trivialize it. We are a group of professionals. We have gone to school to learn and practice what we do. It is significant that we are encouraged by one of our kind leading us. Of course, that is the position of the law too. Nurses lead nurses, pharmacists lead pharmacists. So let's not trivialize it as if when the leader is not important. It is very important. It will encourage the rank and file to work, and they will know that their future is bright because one of their kind, if they work hard one day, they can also lead in their space. That is just the simple truth.
I see. Because you earlier said that, I mean, if doctors want to come to your lab, you don't have a problem. But the key question is whether indeed the whole idea of running the laboratory is about leadership. Is that it?
The sole idea of running the laboratory is not really about leadership, but you know that leadership is cause. Every other thing is effect. And I've made a point to you that the need for professionals to feel significant is a need of a human being. You don't get it? It's a need. And that is why, as a country, we must be fair. If it is the case that we have adopted leadership after own kind, and nurses are leading themselves, pharmacists are leading themselves, so they are encouraged. Why will you want to discourage and demoralize medical laboratory professionals but allowing another kind? A profession cannot be so called when the apron strings of that profession is linked to another profession in terms of leadership and governance. That is making that profession subservient to another. And these are two distinct professions governed by separate laws under the same Act 857. It's a simple matter. Let's not trivialize the leadership issue at all. It's about the need of human beings to lead and manage themselves. And that is sacrosanct.
The physician who's heading the lab, he's a health professional, right?
Yeah, he is a health professional who has gone to learn medicine and is coming to practice as a medical officer. So the medical laboratory scientist has also gone to school CCS and is coming to practice as a doctor of medical laboratory science.
So your headache isn't the fact that having a lab professional heading the lab makes your work efficient, but it is only to get recognition, right or wrong?
No, you are getting it wrong. This leadership is also very technical. So there is a capacity and a body of knowledge required.
Hello,
so
Doc.
It is not just the case that if you are one of your kind leading you, 3 sets of competencies are required to lead in the medical laboratory space. The technical competence, the human skills, which is general, and also the conceptual skills. So you may come in having the conceptual and the human skills, but if you lack the technical competence, you cannot lead and manage in the space of the laboratory. And that is a simple fact.
I see. Because my headache is how the leadership affect the work you do. So the person heading the sector or the department or the unit, and then work that is discharged by the persons. Your concern is that there's a correlation. So the leader must be one of those who are working, right?
Exactly. You must be of the same stock. I've told you that 3 sets of skills is required in the leadership of medical laboratory science, the technical. And so you must be one of a kind with the required competencies. You see, what we practice as medical laboratory science, we went to school to acquire the appropriate knowledge.
Hello, Doc. Oh, I've lost Doctor.
You went to do corporate knowledge to practice medicine.
Right.
Now, the point is that you said you have specialty in some discipline in the medical laboratory space. It doesn't make you a basic professional. And the requisite requirement to lead and manage in the space of the medical laboratory without any apology by the position of the law is medical laboratory science. This is the simple truth.
I see. So, Doc,
aside of that, it is also about fairness. That if as a country we have adopted the principles of leadership of own time, and nurses lead themselves, pharmacists similarly lead themselves, medical laboratory scientists should be allowed to lead themselves. It is just the principle of fairness.
I see. I see.
That is it.
That is it. Doc, your group has argued that there was an agreement that was breached by the Ministry of Health by reassigning the medical lab scientists and then bringing in a physician. But doctors are also suggesting that decision, they were not consulted just like you. So why do you think lab physicians were left out of this whole agreement thing?
My brother, that is not factual. I was privileged to be part of that meeting. And in the midst of the scuffle, it was the ruling of the chief director that whatever has been done should be allowed to continue. But we should stay execution on that matter until we resolve the issues. That was the position of the chief director. Now, let me tell you how dangerous our health system is formulated.
Right.
Because it is one of their kind. That is the CEO of Kolebu, that is a medical officer. And the board chairman is a medical officer. They have capriciously exerted their administrative authority. And they have set our person aside. That is recipe for chaos.
I see.
If we cannot submit to the direction of the chief director of the Ministry of Health. That is it. So let nobody say that they were not pleased with the decision. And that is why they have gone ahead to administratively set our professional aside, because they have the power to appoint and disappoint. We may not have the power to appoint and to disappoint, but we'll also use the arsenals at our disposal by engaging and embarking on our industrial action appropriately.
So, Kolebu doctors have suspended their strike. You have said that if by May 12, you don't get what you want, you're also embarking on strike. Why won't you Why won't you continue dialogue? What is stopping dialogue?
Well, we are engaging. We are engaging. And so when we get there and the issues are resolved with due recourse to the law, then I believe peace will prevail. What is intriguing is that the Korle Bu doctor's position is accessibility to the laboratory space,
right,
to practice what their roles, whatever it is, may be. Why are we touching leaders that are operating in the space? That is my confusion. Because if it is about access, you engage as leaders, we talk to our people that these people have specific roles to come and play, and the roles are not conflicting with ours. And so let's engage, let cool heads prevail, let them come and perform that role in the interest of patient safety and good health care. But when you go ahead to touch leaders, it means that you are making it a leadership and governance issue. And so you see, if there is any, blame, we should be putting it right. We should be asking the CEO as the manager who decides on that occasion to be very chauvinistic and do a professional bidding instead of the national interest bidding.
Are you not concerned when you go on strike and patients suffer?
Take it from me today. No professional is interested in strike. We are not, because we are not immune to the effects of our own strike. But a point must be made that it is the need of every human being to feel significant in their space of work. And so for that matter, if that is threatened, it becomes more like a voluntary action to respond. And so let us also not treat the human beings who work in the lab as a means to an end, but let us also be interested in their needs as well, because they need to be in the right psychological order to function appropriately and provide the right results. Are you not concerned about that too?
Some labor analysts have suggested that for those of you who are essential service providers, when you are unable to dialogue and you go on strike, government should look at criminalizing the strikes and picking up leadership of the various groups, labor unions, and sending them to court. What do you think about that?
Now, respectfully, all essential caregivers and workers are not supposed to get to the point of going on strike. You know why? The law also adequately made provisions that in 72 hours, if they have some grievances, same should be resolved, so that it wouldn't get to the point of they having to strike. So if duty bearers have capacity to interpret the law in its current shape and form, and they fail to do that, put the blame appropriately.
So I assume that today is May 6th. Your group has given May 12th. Then the hope is that between
time have been submitted within which duty bearers and those who matter should act. 72 hours is the requirement by law, respectfully.
So the hope is that before May 12, duty bearers should be able to fix the problem.
Exactly. So that we don't get to the point of doing the excess.
Okay, all right. Finally, before I let you go, a viewer has just sent me this on my phone. He is asking me to ask you to explain, not in technical terms, but in English, what a physician can't do in a lab that a scientist can.
as far as I'm concerned, science has evolved. And so in the current structure of the medical laboratory science, I will struggle to find something that a physician will do in the lab that the lab is not adequately positioned to do it. Because the then technician has evolved to the Doctor of Medical Laboratory Science, 6 years training. We have our postgraduate college, West Africa Postgraduate College of Medical Laboratory Science. Go and look at the course content and juxtapose what the physicians go to do. And you'll be left with no doubt that today's medical laboratory scientist is properly capacitated to function in that space adequately. And as a country that have scarce resources, where physicians are needed to do other specialties that is very scarce, how many urologists do we have? Even gynecology, that we have some numbers, we don't even have them enough in our district hospital to help us curtail and manage maternal deaths appropriately. So my brother, as a country, this is a conversation that we should be having. It is, for me, misplaced priority to say that a physician should have additional training to come and practice in the lab. You may want to quote best practices, but best practices should be properly aligned with jurisdictional differences. We have a peculiar case, and if we are interested in solving this country problem, it is not a case that will submit physicians who are very scarce and they have specialties that we don't even have the adequate numbers to go and do laboratory physician, where medical laboratory scientists have enough competencies to function appropriately in that space. And make no mistake, Korle Bu, which is the center of attraction, is accredited by ISO and to international standard without the involvement of laboratory physicians, so they can function optimally, even to international standards.
All right.
That is the case.
All right. Doc, I'm grateful for your time with me this morning.
Thank you. We are ready to engage, to educate the public from time to time. So don't hesitate to call on me anytime.
Thank you too. Dr. Franklin Amartey Amarh is first National Vice Chair of the Ghana Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists. He's also speaking for them in this critical stage of their engagement with government on their quest to get a member of the association appointed as the head of laboratory at the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital, Ghana's foremost teaching hospital. This is a conversation we'll be following, as they have given government May 12th to sort things out, or they begin a strike. This is Morning Target. There's more conversation coming up. Stay with us, as after a spot of music, we have more before.